Good evening, I'm Camden Cohn, and this is our Sports Ticker. Yesterday, sophomore quarterback Dylan Raiola was named to the Maxwell Award watch list. The Maxwell Award is presented to the College Player of the Year. Raiola will look to join Mike Rozier in 1983 as the only other Husker to win the award. In other Husker news, we're just 4 days away from the Big Red Preview that's presented by 1890 Nebraska. The event takes place this Saturday, August 2nd at 6:30 inside Memorial Stadium. Adult tickets are $20 and youth tickets are $10. It will be the first opportunity to see the Huskers practice in pads this season. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit huskers.com. And finally, some MLB scores today. There's one game that's already a final as the Orioles beat the Blue Jays 16-4 in Game 1 of a doubleheader. In Game 2, the Blue Jays lead 1-0 in the bottom of the second. In the top of the second, the Guardians lead the Rockies 2-0. And at the end of an inning in Detroit, it's the Diamondbacks 1 and the Tigers 0. They're about to start in the Bronx as the Yankees take on the Rays and the Reds take on the Dodgers. Hour 1 of Sports Nightly is up next, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Pianto set first offering. That ball's driven up the middle. Coming around third is Dylan Carey. The throw is offline. The Huskers win it. The Huskers win it. Nebraska will march on.
Wing to the near side. Snap back. Has some time. Steps, throws down the field. The pass is intercepted. Picked off by Sierra Wright to the 30, 25, 20. Sierra down the near sideline. 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Nebraska. Sierra Wright with a pick six for Nebraska. And the Huskers have taken the lead on the road.
Ringdahl, a couple of ball fakes, bounces into Prince at half court. And Prince is going to make a run on a falter. Steps back for three to tie the game. You betcha! Biggest shot of that freshman's young career. Timeout. We're tied at 75. Britt Prince is 19. She steps back and sticks a three-pointer, her fifth of the night.
Now, here is your host, Jessica Coody, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Hey everybody, happy Tuesday to you. I'm Jessica Coody. Hope you are staying hydrated and cool because we were talking yesterday. It was a hot one. It was even hotter today, it felt like, and Kyle experienced that very, very much so out there on the practice field today.
I'm coming from the southeast. I'm coming from the belly of the beast when it comes to hot weather, humidity. I was out at practice today, and I told Jessica this. I almost fainted. I was out there, so we were on that beautiful Bermuda grass that we talked about. I was standing next to Keith Mann, who's the communications extraordinaire for Nebraska football. Been here a long time. I'm not sure he's ever seen anybody faint at practice that's on the staff before. But I just had to, bend at the waist, put my hands on the knees. Keith's talking to me. I'm like, Keith, keep going. I'm just trying to get my bearings. I had to walk back into the indoor just to get the air conditioning. And, man, it was – but tomorrow, Jess, back to my roots of New Jersey fall-like temperatures, because it's going to get a little bit chilly in the morning tomorrow for the guys when they go out to practice.
And he's Kyle Crooks and has been to practice back-to-back days. I could only imagine the scene that would have unfolded if you would have gone down.
The articles that would have been written. Although there was no open session, so nobody would have known besides the entire team and the entire coaching staff.
Just ascending upon to attending.
Oh, what a terrible.
That's a bad feeling, though, when you're about to pass out.
I was close.
I have not passed out from heat before, but one time I was back in my one-man band days. I got stepped on the back of your Achilles where the skin's really thin I got cleated. It was basically in a baseball championship celebration mob, and I somehow got stepped on, and the pain was so bad I had to sit. It was one of those ones where you talk about your teeth. I know that feeling. It's a terrible feeling. It's so scary, and the clouds are coming in on your eyes.
I told Jess and Camden, who you heard at the top of the show. I was so out of it that my teeth were tingling. So I had to get some sort of sports drink or water in me. But wow, it was a hot one today. And I wasn't even in pads or helmets or anything like that. I'll tell you who has a good though, Jess. for most of the practice, the offensive line is in the indoor portion. And I was talking to somebody today. I'm like, the O-line has it good. I don't know what they did to get this end of the deal, but they're sort of living in luxury working in the indoor for a lot of the practice.
Yeah, I wonder if that would be a fascinating question to ask how they go about who is stationed where when they go to do their individual kind of drills, like how they go about. You were out there, you heard Coach Rule. I mean, we were talking about this off air with Damon. Just, I think you get a sense you already kind of knew when you were here on your interview and Coach Rule came in, and just hearing his mind work and how he is such a good CEO of it. That's what it is these days, right? Just making sure that you're running an entire program, not just coaching. But I think you got a sense, at least your first day and first couple of days, of how good of a football coach he is, and just the structure that he has in place, and why it is such a well-oiled machine.
And don't stand in the wrong spot at practice either. When they're doing the 2-minute drills, you don't want to stand behind the end zone where the offense is coming to you. We heard him yell in the first practice. But you know what's interesting is he said multiple times in press conferences, and when we had him at Big Ten Media Days, is in year 3, it's more of letting my coaches do their thing. So you have all the position groups that are the 2 grass fields, the turf field, the indoor. They're all doing their drills, and he truly is confident in the coaching staff that he has around him. If you watch Coach Rule to practice, he's just letting everything develop. He stands in the center of it all, and then if he needs to interject himself into a drill or anything like that, then he'll do it. Or if the organization gets out of whack, he'll let you know. But he trusts every single aspect of this operation, where you probably can't do that in year 1, probably can't do that in year 2. But now that you have everybody who's been here a few years, and a guy like Dana Holgerson who's running the offense, or Mike Eckler who's a veteran of special teams, and John Butler who's been on the staff, knows the expectations, you're letting these guys run their position groups, and Coach Rule just sort of sits back and he's like, I have it easy. These guys do all the hard work.
Yeah, I think it speaks to just the because there's a lot of moving parts within that, the structure of how practice works, and the fact that there's a plan in place before they step on the field, and then they're accomplishing everything that they want to get accomplished from day to day. And I guess, what were your big takeaways? We talked to you yesterday from day 1. What did you take away from day 2, other than almost having a heat stroke out there?
Aside from the double vision that I had out at practice today, just seeing more of the 2-minute offense and seeing the guys line up and the playmakers that they have, especially on the outside. Seeing a Dane Key go to work, an Isaiah Hunter, seeing Ja'Cory Barney, and also I've seen a lot of Cortez Mills, who doesn't look like a freshman. He's a highly talented guy out of the state of Florida, and that's a high school football hotbed. You're getting a legit player in Cortez Mills. Just eager to see how much he plays here in year 1, but he had a lot of reps in that 2-minute drill, and continue to watch the offensive line, but also see the temperament and how Dylan Raiola is such a leader on the field. Was one of the first guys out today, out to practice. He's in the center of the huddles. He's just, it just seems like he's a little bit more confident. And also, I made sure, because yesterday I didn't get to watch a whole lot of the furthest field where the defense does a lot of their work, and watching some of the guys in the secondary as well, and seeing how deep that room is. So it's one position group at a time. I'll spend 10 minutes looking at the offensive line, another 10 minutes over at the DBs, watching the quarterbacks. We saw a lot of Jalen Gramstead, who's gotten some reps behind Dylan as well, and that competition behind Emmett at the running back position. So, and tight end, you see a lot of the guys, Heinrich and Luke and Carter and Max. So it's a really good group out there, and continue to learn more about them.
On Cortez Mills, it was kind of funny. I went to a few practices out throughout the spring, but going back to when they were able to get him on signing day, and Phil Simpson was a big part of that with his ties to Florida. And just, Cortez knows a few guys that have come here. That Florida pipeline is strong and well. But I remember talking to Phil during the bowl practices and how excited he was. And I think they're going to have a hard time keeping him off the field, a little bit like Ja'Cory Barney. They're not afraid to play freshmen and give those freshmen opportunities if they're doing things right throughout the week. And I think Mike had sent in a text last night on the text line asking about when are spots solidified. I don't think spots are necessarily solidified at all. I think if guys need to step in throughout the season, we saw last year some guys be able to step in, a guy like Sierra Wright. So you never know what's going to happen. But for these freshmen, as things go along and they settle in a little bit more and then they're given more opportunity, I think that's when, if they're doing things right in practice, Coach Rule said that from the start, they're going to allow these guys to play. And I think Cortez Mills is a guy it's going to maybe find his way onto the field pretty early, despite the numbers in that wide receiver room and the talent that they have. In fact, at an event Damon and I spoke at about a month or so ago, we were asked about, give us a kind of maybe a guy that we're not talking about right now or don't know their name as well that could be a breakout star. And I can't remember who DB said. He had a couple guys on the defense, but I said Cortez Mills because I think he's going to be a player that they're going to have a hard time keeping off the field.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of my notes when I'm going through Cortez. He was one of the top guys out of the state of Florida, but he got an offer from Nebraska 3 weeks after Rule was hired here at Nebraska. He got an offer from Dabo Swinney over at Clemson when he went to Clemson camp. He was one of the best guys there, and Dabo had given him an offer. He was, top 15 wide receiver nationally. And, different ways that they utilize the receivers in this offense under Dana Holgorsen. Can he be a jet sweep guy? Can he be utilized a little bit in the run game? 6 foot, 185. He's quick, fast twitch. He's another guy in the red zone too, Jess, where Nebraska had so many issues in terms of completing drives inside the 20s with 6 as opposed to settling for 3. That's a really big body, athletic body to find a way to maybe utilize in the red zone. You know who your core 3 are going to be. That's your Dane Keys, Isaiah Hunters, Ja'Cory Barney. But it's interesting. And also, Keelan Smith, I think, is a guy, too, that you could look at. Redshirt freshman, another big body, 6'3", didn't have a spring, only played in one game last year. But, he's got a lot of reps here with some of the top guys on offense here in the first 2 days. So Keelan Smith is another name that I'm certainly going to be looking at here over the next couple weeks.
I have said this a time or two as well, but Dane Key, I think, is probably going to be, if you want to call it a safety blanket, security blanket for Dylan. When I talked to Dylan back in the spring, he joked about it's like a guy who's a luxury car owner, and it's which one am I going to take out for a drive today? Just having all these weapons. And when you talked to him on the media day and it was Ja'Cory and Dane going at the same time, getting their photos, and he said these two guys are going to be the ones making all the plays. And so he's very comfortable with a number of guys. But if you look to, in a certain situation, play breaks down, who am I going to? I think Dane Key will probably be that guy. But I also wouldn't be surprised if Heinrich Harburg is one of those guys, because I just think they have such a tight bond. And going back to when they first got on the field together back in bowl practices, I think he very well could be a guy that Dylan might look to in some of those situations too.
And Isaiah Hunter, too. I remember watching back some of the spring press conferences that Dana Holgorsen had, and Hunter was somebody who is better with the pads on as opposed to just the helmets and the shorts, and a guy that's going to go out, play physical, make contested catches through traffic, has an incredible game day speed. He's not going to be like a Ja'Cory Barney type speed, but he is somebody who could be that big third down option. He was the best, at least production-wise, the best receiver on Cal, and he didn't have only 1 year playing there. Had 40 catches, 5 touchdowns, and he's a track star coming out. So he does have some speed, but like you said, it's a really deep room, and then you add the pass catchers at the tight end spot. And, where does Dylan, we talk about everything that's around Dylan, right, Jess? So where does Dylan take that next step in terms of the turnovers? So freshman season, 13 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. What does that touchdown-interception ratio look like? We know he had a lull when Nebraska had lost 4 straight. He had 2 touchdowns and 7 interceptions after a pretty good start. Was pretty good towards the end when Dana took over the offense. His completion percentage was up. We know they run those mesh concepts, so those high completion percentage throws. So you should see the interception numbers go down. But where does that 13 touchdown number, what does that accelerate to in his sophomore year.
Shane in the chat brings up a good point. I think Harburg deserves a single digit. If I was betting, I'm not a bettor, I'm not a gambler, we're not allowed to do that. But if I was, I would put a lot of money on Heinrich Harburg getting a single digit. I think he's one of those guys. I think he's going to be one of those single-digit guys.
How cool is that story, too? Kearney, Nebraska guy, grew up a Nebraska fan, and to be a single-digit number. So we will see. I mean, he is taking a huge jump and a huge leap in his football career to move to tight end. Can he be an efficient enough, strong enough blocker like a Luke Lindenmeyer? He's not going to be as good of a blocker as a Luke Lindenmeyer, but to be on the field consistent enough, can he be a good enough blocker at that tight end position?
Another name we just haven't mentioned, there's so many of them, but Janiron Bonner is going to have a big role, I think, too. I think we've already seen that a little bit going back to last year throughout the spring. I think he's another one of those guys that fits well into what Dana Holgerson wants to do. Yeah,
slot receiver guy. I saw when I watched back a lot of those games last year, Jess, utilizing him again in that jet sweep type action. So, you know, with Nebraska in the run game, when Dana sort of took over, it was less between the tackles, but more now you have to guard sideline to sideline, numbers to numbers, utilizing Janiron Bonner, who another unselfish guy who's once a fullback turned wide receiver, so he has that big frame, 6'2", 225. How much run does he get with all of these guys? I could see him being a possession-type wide receiver.
And when we talked about the versatility and maybe some of the versatile guys, he has to be in that conversation too because of that right there. And he certainly is. Nick and I talked about this on the show last night, but when you have maybe some younger running backs in some certain situations, you might rely on some of those tight end type players or even a Janiron Bonner type player to help alleviate some of the pass protection, some of the blocking situations when you have some of the younger running backs that aren't as experienced in those kind of big boy situations in the Big Ten.
I'm eager to see Dana and how much he does 2 tight end sets, perhaps 3 tight end sets.
I think it's going to happen.
Like, you got the room, right? You got the room of a Harburg, Lindenmeyer, Nelson, Markway to have possibly 3 tight ends on the field at the same time. If there's any issue with the running game, having an extra blocker on the field or an extra pass catcher, maybe splitting out Carter Nelson into the slot as opposed to having him as an inline tight end. You have a lot of options with this room. But that will be night 1, Kansas City against Cincinnati. I will be very eager to see how many 2, possibly 3 tight end formations that we do see.
All right, we got to get to a break here on Sports Nightly. We are just getting started. I got a fun couple hours. We have Nick Hanley going to join us again here in hour number 2. We'll hear from Emtit Johnson. I had a chance to catch up with him after practice yesterday. Here in just a few minutes, we'll check in and hear from the new head coach for Nebraska women's golf. I think she is definitely going to do some big things with this program. Bree Hall coming up here this hour as well. But we got another segment with Kyle coming up right after this. Hey, Husker, stop by your local Hy-Vee where they've lowered prices on thousands of the items you use every day. Hy-Vee dedicated to making your life easier, healthier, and happier. And I do see a couple of those texts rolling in. We'll get to those on the other side of this.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money, because you're in charge. And right now, you're going to pay for groceries. But you decide what groceries. Just keep in mind you're running out of dishwashing soap. But you decide if you're going to buy that soap. Just those dishes won't clean themselves, will they? Remember, with Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens.
I'm Jason Pinky, a farmer near Craig, Nebraska. Soybeans are vital for feeding our livestock, and they're also a powerhouse protein source for people worldwide. Our world needs protein, and Nebraska soybeans are making a difference.
From tailgate grills to global plates, farmers deliver affordable, nutritious protein to build muscle and energy for everyone. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Shop Woodhouse Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and save on our full lineup of new vehicles with Employee Pricing Plus going on right now. Lease the 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie for just $399 per month. Visit one of our 2 convenient locations in Blair or Bellevue or online anytime at WoodhouseChryslerJeepDodge.com or WoodhouseCDJRBellevue.com today. 42 months, 5,000 miles per year with approved credit, tax, title, license extra. For well-qualified returning leasees. $1,999 down plus first payment and $299 doc fee due at signing. Stock number C250805. Offer expires 7/31/2025. See dealer for details.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Kyle Crooks, I'm Jessica Coody, and we had a special delivery today. We've been talking about high chews. The goods are in. That's a 4-pound bag for you.
Is that our guy Shane again?
Shane, we appreciate
Shane, you are
the
the
high
man.
chews because they were out. Damon brought us some. We're going to have to maybe hide a few of them and be a little bit more strategic about how we put them out for everybody to come and go. As you know, we just put this whole bag out the first time and people just walk by and grab handfuls. So we have to be a little bit more planned out on
strategic.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, what's the old Dora the Explorer cartoon, swipe or no swiping? There was a lot of swiping that was taking place. You know, we had the candy there for us, but it seemed like there was this open invitation for people to just swipe, and there was no invitation. But we were happy people enjoyed it. We have some new flavors, by the way. I had sherbet was one of the ones I had today. There's a bunch of them in there. I look forward to exploring, but they will be put in the vault in Jessica's office and locked away.
We set a bad precedent of when people walk through, because our studio goes right out to the elevator that people use to exit the building. And I think they thought when they walk through here, not only can they exit, they can grab high chews. Yeah. So now it's like this bad habit that we've created from the start that we're going to have to.
But we are sharing people. We are giving people, but not to the extent where we don't get any high chews. But Shane, thank you so much. That is very generous.
We appreciate it, Shane. Okay, had a couple of texts come in for you. Rudy in Florida has some advice for you.
Uh-oh.
He says try wearing a wet bandana.
Okay.
And then just wait, you're going to experience a winter weather to remember. Welcome to Nebraska.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm from New Jersey, so I know the winter weather well, but it has been a long time since I've gone through. You know what I'm looking forward to, Jess? A fall season where the leaves change.
Yeah.
Get me to fall, nostalgia, waking up on a Saturday morning where the Huskers are playing a 6:30 game. You have college game day, and it just feels like fall.
You should show up to practice tomorrow wearing a wet bandana.
I should.
You
know, they had the cold. One of the members of the staff today was rolling around this Gatorade cooler saying, "We have cold towels here." And this is day 2. I'm the new radio guy. I was about to say, me. No, you don't get a cold towel radio guy. But they had everything
Just
out
take
there.
a fan with the squirter thing. Just be all extra when you go out there. Hey, I wasn't here, so I know you talked about it a little bit. You got a little bit of grief about the camera angle with you and Coach Rule.
Tough.
So
tough.
I'm wondering if now that you've been out to practice, you've been able to hit up Corey Campbell or his strength staff for maybe a workout program.
So I saw their weight room, by the way. I was just going to shuffle in there and be like, hey, could I get a few workouts in here? But, yeah, you missed the YouTube comments were outstanding. They were clever. They were outstanding. It's all part of it. But it was the camera. You missed me and Nick did Sports Nightly a little bit last week, and he gave me the floor to do a whole monologue on the whole deal. So I wasn't hurt about it or anything. I just had to do a whole monologue on it.
We took photos yesterday with Damon and myself, and you look proportionate.
I did. I looked very, thanks to my guy Scott, made sure I looked the normal height. I looked like a real person, and somebody called me a garden gnome online. I hope my mom didn't see that.
Is that one of the worst
Somebody said
digs you've ever had in your life?
Somebody said Coach Rule's like 5'8", Damon's 5'6". What is Crooks, 4'9"? No, I am not 4'9".
I just, wanted to see if now that you've been out there, if you've been able to get a workout regimen or something. So.
I got to. I gotta hit up Corey.
Okay, so Art in Los Angeles sent in a text. Hi, Jessica. Do you know when the captains will be announced for both football and volleyball? Again, football does not do captains. They do those single-digit numbers, and then they have game day captains, so they rotate from game to game. And Coach Rule that's his deal and who he selects. You see a number of different guys that'll be out there for the coin toss. So game day captains in the single digits. In the past, they have announced the first batch of single digits pretty quickly. So I don't know how they'll go about it this year. I was going to try to ask about that. Maybe we could find out this week, but I would not be surprised if that happens pretty quickly here in the next, either this week or even into next week. It's been pretty standard that it's been at least, if they didn't do it all at once, that first year, I believe it was like a batch of 2 or 3 and then 2 or 3. And it was pretty quickly into fall camp. So I think we'll start hearing that. In terms of volleyball, that's another really interesting storyline because I think they have a number of leaders that very well could be the captains, including the 2 that were at Big Ten Media Days, Rebecca Alec and Harper Murray. I think Harper has solidified herself as, I would not be surprised at all that if she's a captain, I think she's really taken in the younger players under her wing. She's grown a lot. We heard Danny Busman-Kelly say yesterday she's kind of the epitome of what this program is and just what she has represented and how she's evolved and grown into the role that she's in. So I think she is very, very well liked. She's been a huge mentor to those young freshmen, and there's a bunch of those freshmen. So wouldn't be surprised if it's Harper. I don't know. I also don't know. I don't know if Danny was asked about that yesterday, how she plans to do captains, if it will be the same as what Coach Cook has done in the past. But I assume we will hear those pretty soon, too. Those in the past have been announced in the summer. So I wouldn't be surprised if those come out pretty soon as well. But you listened to some Big Ten Media Days. They were impressive yesterday.
Yeah. Rebecca, she has a future in this.
Yeah.
Wow, and Harper too. Like they were both really, really good. But Rebecca, wow, it was like I could see her being an analyst or something whenever her playing career is done. But I also did read too, so Jess, you probably would know better. But they had spring captains for volleyball, right? And then now they'll vote on the fall captains here coming up. And I read today that the alumni match is going to be sold out at Devaney. So I believe that's August 16th.
So that they had limited numbers yesterday.
Yeah, so I think it's officially, I saw on Instagram, officially sold out. You know what's interesting? As a team that has sky-high expectations, Danny Busboom Kelly's probably not going to say it. First-year head coach, she's stepping into this monumental role. John Cook is a legend. He's going to have a statue outside of the building. Quite literally, he's going to have a statue outside the building. How does this team, understanding what the expectations are going to be of national championship or bust, if you're a player, that has got to weigh heavy on your shoulders on a day-to-day basis?
They're embracing it. They talked about that yesterday. Jalen Reyes mentioned that in a team meeting recently. Let's live up to the hype. The thing about Nebraska volleyball is you know what you're signing up for, and so you know that's the expectation. And I've talked a lot about that. I mean, it's a heavy load to carry. And I think it was when they had the winning streak, when they were all freshmen, it was almost even more pressure. And so, I think they're embracing it this year. They're not shying away from it. They're not being timid about, and dancing around the fact that they want to win a national title. They're as a team, as a collective group, and even the freshmen that weren't a part of it last year, that's the goal, and they are not shying away from those. And I love it. I, for one, love that they're coming in saying, hey, our goal is to win a national title, and if we don't, we are disappointing ourselves. So I love that kind of embracing of those high expectations. Did want to get to one more text before we let you get out of here. John in Omaha asked, with all the monitoring they do of the athletes' bodies, like respiration, heart rate, etc., is there any way that the training staff can definitely monitor the athletes' hydration, especially during hot days like these? Thanks, Go Big Red, John in Omaha. Yes, this nutrition staff, Kristen Coggin, there are so many people involved. You got a chance to meet a few of them that are absolutely, and they always say it's not about when you get onto the field. You have to do the hydrating before you get on the field, and they are making sure that these athletes are doing that from start to finish, when they walk off the field, all throughout the day, and then when they get onto the field.
Hydration testing is very prevalent, not just in fall camp, but every single, I've traveled with a lot of teams in my time, and that is the main thing that head coaches and trainers and the entire staff hydrate. And they have everything they need from a heart standpoint. They wear these catapult deals where they wear over their shoulders and chest to kind of measure their heart rate and their work rate throughout any practice. They are very much on top of all of it.
402-413-2400. Appreciate those texts that are coming in. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. We're going to let Kyle get out of here. He'll be back with us again tomorrow, headed out to practice again, so we'll get another check-in from him after practice. But coming up next, we're going to hear from the newest head coach here in Lincoln, Bree Hall, who takes over Nebraska women's golf. Keep it here on Sports Nightly.
It's the summer sales event with the Ford Groom.
Sam, 30 seconds on the clock. The Ford Summer Sales Event.
Great time to buy.
Correct. What do we have amazing deals on this summer?
Ford trucks and SUVs.
Is Ford America's all-time best-selling auto brand?
Let me think. Yeah, it is.
3 for 3.
What do I win?
You get to work at the Ford Summer Sales Event.
Amazing. I think I was going to do that anyway.
You betcha.
Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry-reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY.
You're not at your house. You're at a lavish seaside estate. You're not walking the dog. You're hunting for clues in an Agatha Christie mystery. See it differently with BritBox. Stream an endlessly entertaining collection of British TV, including new original series, Ludwig, starring David Mitchell.
Bit awkward, really. I think I might just have solved a murder.
And Outrageous, a scandalous true story.
Seems there's a political extremist in every family these days.
See it differently when you stream the best of British TV with BritBox.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens.
I'm Jason Pinky, a farmer near Craig, Nebraska. Soybeans are vital for feeding our livestock, and they're also a powerhouse protein source for people worldwide. Our world needs protein, and Nebraska soybeans are making a difference.
From tailgate grills to global plates, farmers deliver affordable, nutritious protein to build muscle and energy for everyone. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Shop Woodhouse Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and save on our full lineup of new vehicles with Employee Pricing Plus going on right now. Lease the 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie for just $399 per month. Visit one of our 2 convenient locations in Blair or Bellevue or online anytime at WoodhouseChryslerJeepDodge.com or WoodhouseCDJRBellevue.com today. 42 months, 5,000 miles per year with approved credit, tax title license extra. For well-qualified returning leasees. $1,999 down plus first payment and $299 doc fee due at signing. Stock number C250805. Offer expires 7/31/2025. See dealer for details.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody, and recently had a chance to catch up with the newest head coach here in Lincoln, Bree Hall, who takes over Husker women's golf. You'll recall when the hiring announcement happened, Troy Dannon was on Sports Nightly, is just very, very excited about her vision and the things that she wants to implement here with Husker women's golf. She's got an incredible track record, and so excited for her to take over, and had a chance to chat with her. Here is a portion of that conversation. I know it's been a whirlwind. I've been really looking forward to chatting with you, so appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah, no, excited to be here. Excited to finally be here.
Yeah, what's the process been like for you? I know you've been out on the road recruiting and just trying to get settled in, but I guess just take me through the last couple of months and how it's been for you.
Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like I blink and I'm like, a lot has changed in the last couple of months. But I was at Illinois State for 7 years, and so really had some good success there, and we won 3 out of the last 4 championships. And I had gotten the program into the top 100 and really put a lot of work into that program. And we had won the MVC championship by 31 shots. And the next day I got a call and said, "Are you interested in the Nebraska job?" And obviously, I hadn't thought about leaving Illinois State, but when Nebraska calls, that is a really hard opportunity to turn down. So excited that opportunity came my way. And then it was just a matter of, we had qualified for the NCAA regionals. And so wanted to take my team through that and kind of finish out the season at Illinois State. And then, like you said, it was time to switch over and hit the ground running, recruiting for Nebraska and getting settled in and packing up a house and making the move. But, just like I had mentioned, very, very grateful for this new opportunity.
Okay, so what was it about Nebraska when you take that phone call and you don't tell them no?
So I grew up a Big Ten fan. I grew up in a sports family. Me, my brother and sister were all competitive athletes. And Big Ten was just something that we just cheered for, all the Big Ten teams. And I know Nebraska added into the Big Ten a little bit later, but when I got into college coaching, it was kind of like, what's what's the ultimate goal? And that ultimate goal for me was to coach in the Big Ten. But I didn't want it to just be in the Big Ten. I wanted it to be the right fit for me. And when, I kind of started to do, obviously I knew a lot about Nebraska athletics, but just even doing a little bit deeper dive, the community and the support that they have for Nebraska athletics. And I don't mean just, sometimes you see just like the football or maybe just the basketball support. The community supports all sports. And that is something I was very excited to be a part of. Obviously as a female and as I coach female sports, to see the community get behind volleyball, to get behind softball, track and field, all the different sports, that was just something I really wanted to be a part of.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, let's go back to the very beginning, because you were a heck of a player yourself. How did you even start golfing and become a golfer yourself?
Yeah, so my grandpa got me started in the game. I would say probably my grandpa and my dad, but I can still remember weekends where my grandpa would come and pick me up, and some of those best memories were going and walking and playing 9 holes with him. And so he was kind of the one that got me started in the game. And then, my parents were very supportive of us to play multiple sports, to be a multi-sport athlete. But golf was something that I really had a passion for, and my parents saw that and supported that. And so, I had taken lessons and really kind of pursued that. And then I played my college golf at the University of Toledo. I loved my time as a student athlete, and I think that was part of the direction of me getting into college coaching. Had such a great experience. My college coach is still a mentor to me today. And so to have that experience and then be able to take that into college coaching. I think I kind of went into coaching a little differently than most. After I played my college golf, I did want to pursue a professional career. Unfortunately, that's a tough go when you don't have sponsorships or the funding. And so I'd gotten into the golf business. I was working at a private club in Nashville, Tennessee, and I thought, okay, maybe I can get some sponsorship through some members there. But then I got into the golf business and I found a passion for teaching. And so unfortunately, my professional career didn't work out. And so I got my PGA certification, worked my way through and was an assistant golf professional, was a head golf professional, and then eventually became a director of instruction. And I was working at a private club in Asheville, North Carolina, and the athletic director at UNC Asheville called me up, and she said, we're going to start a women's program. Would you be interested in college coaching? And absolutely was my answer. And I think I had always wanted to be a college coach, but once I kind of got going in the direction of working in the golf business, it was kind of, okay, well, how do I now take that route to get into college coaching? And so that door was opened, thankfully, through the Janet Cohn, who's the athletic director at UNC Asheville. She gave me an opportunity to start a program from scratch, which was a very unique opportunity. Yeah. And so probably on paper, it didn't make sense. Here they are hiring a coach who doesn't have any previous experience in the college world, but, I'd had 14 years of different experience within the PGA world and working in the golf business. And so it was just an opportunity I couldn't turn down to become a college coach. And so I spent a year recruiting and building the team at UNC Asheville. And then I was the coach for 2 years there before I got the opportunity to go to Illinois State. And I was there for 7 years, worked really hard to get that program to where it was and where it's at. And, I want to see that program continue to succeed.
Wow. What a journey. What are some of the biggest things you took away from starting a program and building that program first and then that maybe you still can apply to what you do today?
I think the biggest thing for me that I learned is I have to be my authentic self. I think when you get into coaching, I wish I could remember the podcast that it was on, but someone had said, we're not very good versions of other people. And we have to be our own self. And so I think when I first got into coaching, I was always trying to be, I was trying to learn from different coaches. And I do think you can learn from other coaches. I'm not saying that you can't and that you shouldn't. But I think I had to realize that I had to do things my way. And I had to learn what that path was. But that I wanted to be who I was as a coach. And so I think that was my biggest takeaway in starting that program was, yeah, we can learn. Success leaves clues. We can learn from other people, but we still at the end of the day have to be our authentic self.
Wow, powerful. I love that. You talked about teaching. Do you have a favorite part of the game you enjoy teaching the most?
Probably short game. I think that's an area that I've kind of started to dive into a little bit more, and especially now with all the technology and how the game has grown, and now we have access to numbers right away. Back when I played, we didn't take videos on the range and send them to our swing coach, and I think now they have access to all that information right at their fingertips. And so sometimes that's a good thing and sometimes it's a bad thing, but being able to kind of have access to those short game numbers, I've really started to kind of dive into that a little bit more.
We got a lot of golfers that listen and tune in every night. You have a quick, I guess, a bit of advice you could give people about their short game?
Obviously I'm going to, as a PGA professional, going to encourage, get out there and take a lesson with your local pro. But really what I try to create with my players is simulate what that tournament feel is going to be like. And I realize that it's really hard to simulate pressure in practice, but we as coaches try our best to do that. And so I would encourage people to, get in some drills where it's creating that pressure in that practice space. And then that way you feel like you can take your game from the range to the course or from the practice green to the course. So I would just encourage people to kind of create some drills that create that pressure to simulate what it's going to be like on the course.
Great advice there. Okay, so you talked about Illinois State and the program you were able to build there. You've been in the NCAA tournament, won multiple titles. You've been the coach of the year there. What went into building that and some of the things that you were able to do well there that you think could translate to what you want to do here at Nebraska?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's about finding the right players, right? I mean, I think there's so many talented players out there, but it's finding the right fit for your program. And I think that's going to be one of the keys for me here at Nebraska is, there's a lot of talented players out there and there's a lot of top recruits, but we want to find the players that have that share in the vision of what we want to do here at Nebraska and want to be a part of that. And so I think it's going through that recruiting process and kind of diving into those questions and finding out who wants to take part in the journey that we're going to be on. And the journey we're going to go on is that, we want to be competitive in the Big Ten. We want to get to that NCAA regional tournament every year. And then, we want to look to being competitive on a national stage. And so it's finding those players that have that dedication and that drive and that want to be a part of that.
Well, what was it like getting to chat with Troy Dannon and some of the leadership team here at Nebraska?
When I came for the interview process, Troy he made me feel so welcome and just, you're already nervous in the interview process. You want to obviously put your best foot forward and explain your vision and what you want to do here. And he just made me kind of feel at ease and really made me feel like I was going to be welcome here. And that's really all the support staff that I met through the interview process and have, slowly started to meet while I've been on campus. Everyone is so welcoming. And I think that speaks volumes about the university, about the athletic department. We're all here for a reason. We want to help these student athletes be the best that they can be. We all want to have an impact on their lives. And you can just tell that by meeting everyone.
Well, when Troy was on one of his shows, when we announced your hiring, I think he'd also at that point addressed the new facility that you're going to get. How excited are you about that, and how helpful is that going to be for you?
I cannot wait for that to be completed. The construction is happening right across from my office right now, and but it's going to be a game changer for us to be able to have access to more simulator bays for our student athletes. To have access to another putting room with all the technology from the TrackMan and the Putt View that's going to be in there. As I had kind of mentioned, technology is a game changer, especially utilized in the right ways. And so it's on us as a coaching staff to make sure we're providing our players with the education for those training tools, making sure they're using them properly, but to be able to have that access for student athletes. And it's going to be really big for us in the off season.
You've already got a lot accomplished here. You've added to your staff. You got your assistant coach. Can you tell us about her?
Yeah, so Coach Alyssa's going to join us. She's actually all moved in and settled in. She got here a little faster than I did. But excited about what she brings to the team. As a former Big Ten athlete who played at her college golf at Michigan State, and a very accomplished player, and then went on to play Symetra Tour, and then also on the LPGA. I think she brings that experience with her that the recruits we're looking for, we want them to have aspirations to continue playing. We're not saying that's it has to be that way, because some people want to play college golf and then pursue a different avenue after college golf. But we are looking for those players that kind of have those life goals and those dreams to continue playing. And so I think she can obviously speak to all those recruits on that, what that experience was like for her. what she did as a student athlete to put herself in that position to be successful. And so I think she just adds that to that program. And she's got a lot of energy. I think I have a lot of energy and passion for golf, but I think she's going to beat me in that. So we're just excited to, like I said, hit the ground running, look for those future recruits, but also continue to develop the current players that we have.
I know you got a special player that's coming with you from Illinois State. Tell us about Jessica Jolly and what Husker fans can be excited about her.
Yeah, I think, Jessica is probably one of the hardest workers I've ever met. And she's a sponge. You give her some information and she'll be out there working on it all day and all night. There were times that the sun was coming down on the range at Illinois State and she was still out there. So very dedicated. She also has a passion to continue playing. And so obviously Coach Alyssa can help her with that route. But I think she's got so much untapped potential. I see so many things as far as just from her ball striking to her short game. She's got a lot that she can bring. And I think the best thing about her, too, is she's a great teammate. And that's what we're looking for here. We're looking for great players, but we're looking for great teammates as well. We want to build a positive culture here. We want to do something really special and grow this program, but we want it to be in an uplifting environment as well. And so I think she brings that as well to the program.
Just really enjoyed my conversation with Bree Hall, the new head coach for women's golf. You can listen to that full conversation. It's out now on our YouTube channel and our podcast platform as well. Got to get to a break. We're back to wrap up hour number 1 next.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Refine your luxury shopping experience when you purchase your next vehicle at Genesis of Southwest Omaha. Receive 2.99% APR for 60 months on the full lineup of 2025 Genesis GV80s, plus up to $2,000 loyalty or competitive owner bonus. Visit our showroom in Village Point or online at southwestomahagenesis.com today. With approved credit, tax, title, license extra when financed with Genesis Finance. $2.99 doc fee due at signing. Offer expires July 31st, 2025. See dealer for details.
Welcome back. Just got about 50 seconds left here of our final segment of Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody and wanted to make sure I got this in tonight, but wanted to give a huge congratulations to Ben McLaughlin and his wife Olivia, so a member of the Huskers Radio Network family. They welcomed in the newest Husker over the weekend, Beckett William McLaughlin, 9 pounds, 6 ounces. And Ben sent us a message that both baby and mama are doing fantastic, and he said that that middle name he shares with Sharpie. So how precious is that? And Damon chimed in and said, that's a heck of a baseball name, Beckett McLaughlin. I think that sounds right. So we'll have to ask Ben about that, the newest addition. But congratulations to the McLaughlin family. We're glad that Beckett is here and doing well. Hour number 2 of Sports Nightly coming up after this.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Want to boost Nebraska's economy and help the planet? It's as easy as filling up your tank. Switch to soy-based biodiesel to cut greenhouse gases by up to 74% and support biodiesel growth.
I'm Greg Anderson, a farmer near Newman Grove, Nebraska, and biodiesel has transformed our farm.
It cuts emissions, raises the cetane number, and improves fuel lubricity.
So ask for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, economy, and Nebraska soybean farmers. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Good evening, I'm Camden Cohn, and this is our sports ticker. Yesterday, sophomore quarterback Dylan Raiola was named to the Maxwell Award watch list. The Maxwell Award is presented to the College Player of the Year. Raiola will look to join Mike Rozier in 1983 as the only other Husker to win the award. And finally, another Husker news. We're just 4 days away from the Big Red Preview presented by 1890 Nebraska. The event takes place this Saturday, August 2nd at 6:30 inside Memorial Stadium. Adult tickets are $20 and youth tickets are $10. It'll be the first opportunity to see the Huskers practice in pads this season. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit Huskers.com. Hour 2 of Sports Nightly is up next, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Tight formation, turn, toss it off to a little end around by Barney. He's at the 10-5, touchdown Nebraska. Ja'Cory Barney slips in there, taking the pitch on the end around from 10 yards out. Nebraska stretches the lead to 20-3.
Pickens with a 1-2. Bland rolls the ground ball to third. Gibson charges, backhand stop throw to first. The throw, wild! Runner safe at first. Squire scores. Now Lauren Camden's in around third. She dives in safely. The throw wide of the plate. Bland around third. She's gonna score! Everybody scores! Everybody scores! A Little League 3-run home run for Sammy Bland. 3-1 Nebraska.
Between the circles now to Wooster into Morgan, back to the basket, comes left, dribble handoff to Asijan, took a bump, drives it, puts it up, got it! Holy smokes, what a great goal by Connor Asijan. He's not just a three-point shooter, my friends, 70-67.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Nick Hanley, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody, joined now by Nick Hanley. And Nick, I'm going to get right to it here. I watched Happy Gilmore 2. We were talking about it yesterday in the chat. That I've been asked if I've seen it. It was released over the weekend, so I watched it, and I really, really enjoyed it. You said you were pleasantly surprised. I found myself laughing out loud on multiple moments. So I actually really, really liked the movie. Not just was okay with it. I actually really enjoyed it.
It was a lot better than I thought it would be. With so much time that had passed from the original Happy Gilmore and how much Adam Sandler has aged, it's crazy when they show the old, like they could do the flashbacks of the first movie, and it's amazing how young Adam Sandler looks, but that was in the late 90s, for gosh sakes. I was still in high school, which is crazy. So seeing that, and the amount of cameos were insanely ridiculous, but it was fun. I'm with you. I had a low standard, a low bar, because there was no way you were ever going to surpass the original, like many sequels unfortunately do not. But I just wanted it to be entertaining. And it was very entertaining. I'm with you especially at the end when they have the PGA golfers versus the maxi golfers, and that entire circus was hilarious. But when they go into the batting cages, and DeChambeau takes one in the lower abdominal regional, he takes one in the stones, and then Rory gets blasted all the way back to the fence, I was laughing audibly, like very loudly. So yeah, it was entertaining. I thought it was pretty solid.
I thought the tie-ins to Scotty being in jail and him knowing how to get arrested, and then also I'll tell you the scene I rewound and watched probably 5-6 times was the waiter scene with Travis Kelce and Xander Schauffele and Ricky Fowler. I mean, I thought I was dying laughing at that scene too. There's multiple. I think because I really like the group of golfers that they included, I might get canceled for this, but I think I enjoyed it as much as the first one. Just because I maybe I'm with you. I had a really low standard, and then I was so pleasantly surprised that I found it enjoyable. But it was comparable to me because I think just with the cameos and the kind of I just had no idea what to expect, and so I really liked it, and it was pretty close for me between the two.
And then the whole thing about John Daly basically being the house pet. Like, make sure you feed John Daly 3 times a day. Like, and John Daly was pretty good. Sometimes when you get the athletes, they force it so much to be funny. And that's why I'm kind of with you on the golfers that they selected. Like, Scotty Scheffler wasn't awkward. And, yeah, leading into the whole getting arrested thing was great. Rory was good. Even Bryson DeChambeau, he didn't overdo it. I thought he would probably overdo it because you know how I'm a huge Bryson DeChambeau fan, right? I'm not really, but I thought he was actually pretty good in that. Koepka was really good too.
Justin Thomas was great. Your boy was great.
Yeah, JT was good. You had the Xander Schauffele. What was it the That's What She Said or something about your mom or something, whatever.
That's what she said,
That was good. I mean, even Spieth was in the small part he had was good. So, like, everybody, you could tell they had fun with it. And you got to think about it. All of those guys, how young they were when the original Happy Gilmore came out. That was probably one of the first golf movies that they ever saw, if they were even allowed to see it, because I know they weren't of age to see an R-rated movie. So, but for me growing up, it was always Caddyshack. So I bet for that age group of golfers, it was probably Happy Gilmore. That was that one golf movie that they probably watched continuously. And then all of a sudden to get an opportunity to be in the sequel and work with Adam Sandler with that had to be so cool. And I thought they all did a great job. Yeah, it definitely surpassed my expectations. And in true Adam Sandler or Happy Madison production form, the randomness of the guy's breath and having gingivitis and all of that, like all these little things, you're just like, this is like, you just start laughing and you're saying, this is ridiculous, but you can't stop laughing. And any movie that can do that, I will walk away at least entertained to the point that it was not a waste of time. And I was hoping that as good as the first one was, that the second one wouldn't be a waste of time, because I think anybody who watched Happy Gilmore, we're all going to see it regardless of how it was. I think that's been the consensus. Is I think everybody's been, for the most part, pleasantly surprised, knowing that it was at least entertaining, and you have those moments where you're gonna laugh out loud.
And the fact that Shooter and Happy joined forces, I mean, it just
shout
out Adam Sandler. He doesn't really. I mean, he's in a lot of movies, and he has very few really bad movies. So he does things right, I think. So. Hopefully nobody's tuned us off now that we've spent the first portion of this show talking about Happy Gilmore too. But we did have people asking about it, and I hadn't seen it, so I promised I'd go watch it, and I knocked it out. I actually really enjoyed it. So I told the guys that we would talk about it tonight. So there you go. We did not get into this yesterday, but some big news yesterday regarding Deion Sanders. I hit on a little bit, but just glad that he's okay. It was wild that, didn't know exactly what his health issues were, but he's going to keep coaching. And, we could say whatever we want between Nebraska and Colorado and Deion and Prime, but I'm glad he's okay. And he was open about it yesterday, and I thought that was neat to see, even talking about maybe having a porta potty on the sideline. But I'm glad he's okay, and I think it's cool that he's still going to keep coaching, and that he was pretty transparent about it too.
It was interesting to see everything that he had gone through in such a private manner. It's funny when we think about his time in Colorado, and still, he's pretty early in that time with the Colorado football program, that everything they've done has been so well documented. And obviously we know the reasoning behind that. They're trying to promote the Colorado football brand, and that's their way of doing so. And I think there was also a lot of that need to not just the Colorado football brand, but also, Deion Sanders' sons as well, that they were able to keep that private. And obviously, we're not talking about entertainment. We're not talking about glitz and glamour. We're talking about a real tough situation. And bladder cancer, I don't care what stage, I don't care when you catch it. That is obviously, cancer in general, as we know, we've been hit very close to home just recently with the passing of Greg Sharp. So I think everybody it has always been impacted by it. And I think you're right, Jessica. There's always those rivalries, and there's always how you might feel about someone's persona, whether it's a coach, whether it's a player, whether it's an entertainer. People that are in the spotlight, they're going to appeal to certain people, and others they're not. But when you think of the human factor of it, and you think of somebody that is going through a real battle and wanting it to be a private matter until they felt confident and comfortable enough to talk about it and to share it, I think we're all rejoicing that the news was good, that he was cancer-free, but having pretty much essentially his entire bladder removed. Pretty remarkable that, I mean, he has recovered the way that he has. And I think all of us, I'm sure Husker Nation and college football and everyone out there is praying that will continue to be the same, because again, there is a huge benefit to athletics when you have people that have that personality that Deion Sanders likes. And again, it's a polarizing one. I mean, it's that personality is not for everyone, but we talk so much on this show about growing the game, whether, like yesterday, we were talking about growing the sport of volleyball. We've talked about growing the sport of softball. We've seen the sport of football, especially with college football here as of late, continue to grow and grow in different ways that is not necessarily traditional ways. And there have been certain movements, there have been certain all-access opportunities to see how these things grow. And it takes visionaries, it takes personalities, it takes people that are willing to go against the traditions to make that happen. Deion Sanders has always been that way. I mean, going all the way back to his time playing. And so I think that importance of having him remain in the game is a big deal. But more than anything, to have him healthy, because, I mean, there is still a father. There is somebody that is still very much a big part of what he's living for. And he makes it known all the time. He has a very strong relationship with God. There is that, all of those human elements that I think we can all relate to, whether we're fans or not of the persona. And again, I know that I'm not alone. I know you're not alone when we're all hoping that continues to be the path for him, that road to recovery, and he's able to stay cancer-free. That was an eye-opener. I think a lot of us were bracing what was going to be revealed, knowing that he was going to hold a press conference with his medical team, and we knew the issues that he had with the 2 toes being amputated. He's dealt with some health issues, continues to have that same type of vibrance, though, and that same type of persona that is very, very attractive to young student athletes to come and play for him. So, yeah, I'm with you. Great news that he is doing better in what is obviously an extremely scary situation.
You know, and all that being said, that's still one of the teams that I'm circling that I can't wait to see how they move forward without Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders, and how the program continues to move forward with Deion Sanders. I think we're all paying pretty close attention to what Scott Frost and UCF does as well. I think those are two of maybe the teams outside of the Big Ten that I'm kind of fascinated by, to see how those two programs pan out. But I don't think I've ever asked you this. So I know this is a hot debate every offseason, and it comes up. I feel like the renewed rivalries and potentially establishing a more consistent matchup between programs. Would Colorado be in your list of potentials of you would like to see? I know a lot of Husker fans would, but what would be, I guess, your number one on your list of a team, whether it's a rivalry or not, but of a matchup that you could see more consistently with Nebraska?
You know, I'll be honest with you, and speaking of Deion Sanders, I think he made that potential series a lot more appetizing, because everybody got really excited again about the Nebraska-Colorado series and having it in Boulder 2 years ago. And then, of course, last year we knew that was one of the most electric environments that we've seen in a long time, very comparable to 2014 Miami, another 90s non-conference rival that Nebraska had with the Hurricanes. But I don't know if it has that same type of weight if you don't have a guy like Deion Sanders that's pushing those buttons. Because I remember when McIntyre was there, even Mel Tucker, who tried to poke it a little bit and tried to stir up a little bit of that back and forth with Nebraska, and talking about how there better not be any fans wearing red when they come to Boulder in 2019. And we know that was not the case. In fact, there were very few Colorado fans. Unfortunately, Nebraska couldn't hold on and win that game. But I don't know if that Colorado Buffaloes led by Mel Tucker or Mike McIntyre or any of the other coaches, because I think it does take a certain coach to drive that rejuvenation of a series. I don't think you can just do it, especially with where Colorado was. And I'm not trying to say Nebraska was so much more superior as of late compared to Colorado. But Colorado they were middling to the point that they were below average. And if you're going to re-spark a rivalry, you need either that team to be just kind of a world beater, but you need a little bit of that back and forth. You need somebody that has a little bit of that flair, that's not afraid to say certain things to drum up that emotion, that passion for both fan bases. And I think Deion Sanders was perfect. So I think with Deion there at Colorado, that is a huge series. It does make you sort of re-embrace that rivalry, if you will.
I don't know
Oklahoma.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, and you know the Oklahoma one very well. That one to me is always interesting because I always thought that there was a mutual respect between Nebraska and Oklahoma. I don't think it drummed up as much of that hatred that we saw these last 2 years when Nebraska played Colorado. I think when Nebraska went to Norman, I felt like that was more of a kind of a reunion and remembering the old days and the appreciation and respect that they had for Barry Switzer and they had for Tom Osborne and those great games, the game of the century and all of those different memories that led both of those teams to have such a strong brand in college football. I never sensed that hatred, though. And so I think right now the Colorado one compared to those two, which was a manufactured rivalry under Bill McCartney, I think that to me is probably the one that invokes more emotion than it does Oklahoma. Now, I know there's older fans than I am that would say, OU is still always going to be the one for me. But I think as far as what we saw here recently, and even in the early, mid-'90s, I still feel like Colorado kind of it got a lot more of that passion and emotion out of Nebraska fans.
Yeah, and I don't know necessarily about, a rivalry matchup, but I'll throw a couple more out there that I think would be fun to see potentially in the future is maybe a Kansas or Kansas State. I really like Lawrence. It's close, it's drivable, and so with the travel that now is involved with the Big Ten Conference, I wouldn't mind seeing one of those closer matchups that we could drive to.
I think anytime you throw in the old Big 8 or Big 12 teams, you can't go wrong. I'm with you actually on K-State. Now, Kansas had the run in 2007 where they went to the Orange Bowl. They beat Virginia Tech. They were ranked as high as number 2 that year. And I remember in 2005, that was the first time they had beat Nebraska. It was 60-something years. I can't remember, like 65 years. That was the first time that they had actually gotten a victory over Nebraska. But they were really struggling before that happened. K-State, if you remember, once they got Nebraska, and they got them a few times after that as well, that there was a lot of chest pounding as if Kansas State had been doing it for years. And I always sense how the fan base for Nebraska feels when a team flexes like that or a fan base flexes like that. And I think the K-State fans were definitely giving it to Nebraska fans way more than the KU fans were in the two times that they got Nebraska during that little stretch. So I think that the K-State one would be a lot of fun, especially with Chris Kleiman and the program that he's building there. There's a lot of respect for what they're doing in Manhattan, Kansas. I'm going to throw another one at you, and just because I think he's a fantastic coach as well.
I know where you're going to go.
I think what Matt Campbell and Iowa State.
I was going to say, let me guess, Iowa State. I knew you were going to go there.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be a good one, too.
Because those were some really good matchups back and forth. I remember the Seneca Wallace game where they got Nebraska in Ames. There was the Paul Rhodes where Nebraska had like 9 turnovers in 2009. And Paul Rhodes, given the famous for Cyclone fans, maybe infamous for Nebraska fans, but I'm so proud to be your coach speech after Iowa State beat Nebraska in what was one of the ugliest games I've ever seen, but they got them. So and the Iowa State fans, they've experienced success under Campbell, and even when they've been a little bit off the radar, that's a sneaky, loyal fan base. And I think anytime that there was an opportunity they felt that they could get Nebraska if Nebraska was down, well, they reveled in that. So I think Iowa State would invoke a fun little back and forth as well.
Yeah, and I think even just the history of it aside and the renewing of the rivalry aside, just the location of it, the fan bases at Kansas, I know, is just getting a brand new stadium, and they have had some positive things going their way recently. I think it could be just a fun matchup because I think all three of those programs are that you could face that were close. Probably not going to be in the gutter anytime soon, I wouldn't think. And so it could be a good resume builder, would be a fun matchup with the history. I think there are a lot of kind of positive elements involved outside of like, oh, let's play Colorado or Oklahoma. But here are maybe some three other potential games I wouldn't mind seeing on the schedule.
Well, and you're right about what Kansas has going on there. And Lance Leipold, with connections to the Nebraska program, he spent a couple of years on the sideline for the UNO football program when they existed as well. So he's no stranger to Nebraska football in this area. He recruits this area too. And you're right. Any chance you have an opportunity to renew a series and they just so happen to have a nice upgraded stadium as well, that would be cool. Now, if there is ever this full embracing of a pact or this alignment between the SEC and the Big Ten, where all of a sudden you've got that agreement that you're going to kind of do maybe a Big Ten SEC challenge where you're going to have one non-conference game every year that's going to be against that other conference. Boy, wouldn't Nebraska fans love to have either a Texas or a Missouri in there? Oh, yeah. That would be fun. That would be fun. Although I don't know if we want to play Texas right now. Maybe not right now. We'll take on Missouri. Although Missouri's doing pretty good too. They're recruiting very well. So, I mean, it's the SEC, right? Oh, all right. Good stuff there. We got to get to a break here. One more segment here with Nick. And then coming up here in just a few minutes, we're going to hear from Emtit Johnson. I had a chance to chat with him yesterday after practice. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Keep it here on Sports Nightly.
Turn up the heat during the Honda Summer Event at Woodhouse Honda. Drive off in style with limited time offers happening now. Lease the 2025 Honda HR-V AWD LX for $299 a month for 36 months and 10,000 miles per year. Shop in store off Highway 281 in Grand Island or online at woodhousehonda.com. With approved credit, tax, title, license, extra. Security deposit waived. $2,499 due at signing, plus first payment and $299 doc fee due at signing. Stock number GH250174. Offer expires 7/31/2025. See dealer for details.
You're going to feel a puff of air.
Jong's Optometry has set their sights on staffing up.
Try the next line. Hey, Kim, can you tell our 2 o'clock we're running 15 behind? Sorry, we're a bit backed up today.
He needs an optometric technician to keep an eye on it all.
Where are the dilation drops?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Woodhouse Nissan is the easy choice when shopping for your next vehicle. Receive 0% APR for 60 months on our full lineup of 2025 Nissan Muranos and Nissan Pathfinders. Get started online or visit us in Bellevue or Omaha off 144th and Giles Road today. With approved credit, tax, title, license, extra. When financed with NMAC, $299 doc fee due at signing. Murano based on sale price of $41,451. Then number SC123452. Pathfinder based on sale price of $40,886. Then number SC270450. Offer expires August 4, 2025. See dealer for details.
For farmers, sustainability is a way of life. 97% of farms are family-owned, and 95% are participating in conservation programs and using sustainable practices.
I'm Ann Meese, a farmer near Elgin, Nebraska. I grew up on this land, and we're dedicated to being good stewards and leaving it better for the next generation.
Since 1980, U.S. soybean farmers have boosted production by 130%, all while lowering emissions and improving land and water use. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody with Nick Hanley. We've got one more segment here with Nick. He's got to run out the door because you've got some flag football practice you got to get to. It's time. It's not just here for the Huskers. Whatever your team name is, the big flag football season is starting as well for you.
And don't worry, we're shortening the practice because of the heat, and there will be popsicles for the kids afterwards. You got to keep their attention. That's the best way to do it right now.
We did, I've noticed on the chat, there's not been any updates. They've been checking to see if you've hit the course recently, and it doesn't seem like you either haven't put in your score or you haven't been able to be out recently.
I have not been able to. We were going to play this weekend, and the heat kind of drove our group away from that. So I got a couple scrambles. I got a big scramble on Friday. Obviously, that's not something that I will record because it's a scramble. We're not going to be playing. Hopefully, we're playing, well, maybe not. I said if we're playing every one of my golf balls, that means I'm playing really well or everyone else is playing bad too. So, but you got to get a couple rounds in because, once we get to football season, good luck doing that.
Okay, so I've got to ask you a question because you're a dad, right? And you guys did a little bit of daycare, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yesterday I took my dog Sunny to doggy daycare, and she was – so I had a busy day with practice, and then we were taking photos and recording some stuff here in the studio, and I'm like, they're fixing my air conditioner in my apartment, so I'll get her out of their hair. So I drop her off. She's there for like 3.5 hours, not long, right? And so I pick her up, and the lady's nice as can be. She did okay, and I could tell. I was like, okay, she obviously didn't do as well as I thought maybe she would do. So I got her report card, and one of the things they said was that she's socially selective, and I'm not sure how to take that. Socially selective. Should I be concerned as a dog mom?
No, I think that's a badge of honor. Socially selective. That means, to me, they're self-aware.
Not a follower?
They know who they should be socializing with and who they shouldn't be. That could be perceived as maybe they're a bit snobby.
That's
I guess.
what I thought.
don't know,
That's what my mom said. She's her grandma said maybe she's a little bit of a snob, but
she's got a little attitude. It's okay. That's all right. I think I'm chalking that up to a very self-aware dog. If my kid came back with, first of all, I love that your dog's getting a report card. If my kid was labeled socially selective, obviously I'd want to know more about what that means, but I would walk away saying, good. He knows who the troublemakers are and who he shouldn't hang out with, and hopefully he's hanging out with the right people, or he's just hanging out by himself because he's so independent and creative that everyone else just doesn't really inspire him. And then, as I keep saying that makes you think, okay, does he think he's too good for everybody? So I don't know.
Well,
I think it's more of very much aware of your surroundings.
I think she just wanted to be with the workers there. So it's off-leash dog bar, and they have daycare, and it's a fantastic place. Love the people there. They're great. But, yeah, they do a report card every time. And I've never gotten socially selected before, so I'm like, I got to get her more acclimated to being around other dogs, Like, they say you got to get them in there, I guess, early. So she's got to be more friendly. We got to have a talking to with her. But anyway,
do they put the dogs with dogs that are their similar size?
No,
or are they all
and it was
in
a
there?
big group, so maybe she's a little intimidated by the size.
Yeah.
So
I would think so.
Anyways, just parent, I just had to get your parent advice.
I get it.
We're
Good
covering
for you.
it all
keep
here.
raising her that way.
We're covering it all here tonight. We've got movie reviews, sports, parenting advice, you name it. We're checking it off the list.
Both humans and animal parenting advice. There we go. Yes.
Okay, so one of the things that we did not talk a lot about yesterday that was one of the big kind of storylines, and I think a lot of people latched onto in Coach Rule's press conference, was about Archie Wilson. We had him on the show a couple weeks ago, and highly entertaining guy, really enjoys personality, and has the Aussie accent, so he's going to be a favorite. But it was pretty interesting to hear Coach Rule talk about him and all the things that he can do. He can boom it with both legs, which, coming from someone that is so right-handed, it's not even funny. I don't know how he does that. He can throw it. That was one of and then the banana ball deal. There was a lot of things that were pretty interesting, the take on that. I know it caught a lot of people's attention.
It got my attention too, for sure. And that was a bit of a eye-opener or eyebrow raiser when he talked about being able to kick with both feet and being able to really have that ability to change not only the ball trajectory, which punters can do in general, but being able to roll from side to side and not have to stop, plant because you're going to your weak side, that no matter which side, it's going to be his strong side. And, I thought Matt Rule brought up a really good point. When you're a moving target and there's always that threat that if you don't drift with him, he might be able to pull it down and run. He might be able to, chuck it about 5 to 10, 15. Sound like he has a good arm, maybe even further than that.
Yeah, and I couldn't believe Coach Rule's just putting it out there. Like, shouldn't it be an element of surprise that he can throw
I think he's putting it out there because the majority of the time they're probably not going to, but they probably want the other team to think that they are, so they're not setting up a return. But
Coach Rule's always playing chess, not checkers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. While we're all playing checkers, he's playing chess. We know how that is. But being able to set up that return, I think just something as basic as not understanding or not really having, even with the scouting report, he tends to go to this side of the field, or he tends to try to attack this hash. There's a lot of those things with so many very well-connected people on staff that are going to have that information. When you have those rugby-style kickers, that's one of the things that I don't know if people discuss enough is how tough that is for a team to try to set up what they want to do successfully with a punt return, especially if you have a punt return unit that is putting up good numbers. This is where, again, I don't know if this is going to all of a sudden change Nebraska's punting fortunes and give them that element that they need, but it is intriguing. And with what Matt Rule was talking about, there was a lot of aha moments, in my opinion, with the different things that he could do. And I'm not saying all of a sudden you're thinking, well, why didn't we have that before? This is all great. Because, look, there can be, just like any other punters, there can be inconsistency issues. When you do have that low-line drive sometimes, you can outkick your coverage as well, to where, before anybody engages that returner, he's already 10 or 15 yards up the field. So there are definitely some fallbacks to it as well. But what Matt Rule said, where you're a constant moving target, and you just don't know where that punter is going to set up and ultimately what area of the field he's going to attack with that actual kick itself, I think that can be a weapon, especially when you're able to put a lot behind it. Now, the element of surprise with that ability to have trick plays or to be able to throw out of it or to extend a drive because you have an athlete who is nimble on each side of the field, I think that's just a plus right there.
Had you heard the term banana ball not referring to the Savannah Bananas?
I was going to say, I'm like, well,
that's what I immediately think Banana Ball. I think it's Savannah Bananas, who Coach Rule just went and saw recently.
Yeah, I mean, they're all the rage right now. But yes, I had not heard of a Banana Ball. So I'm glad. I can't remember who it was who asked for a follow-up, like, what's a Banana Ball? I'm glad they asked that, because I think we all were curious, but I don't know if everyone was like, hey, I want to ask that question, because there's also like, am I supposed to know this? So I'm glad that they did ask that question, because I had no idea what it was. But yeah, I mean, being able to have the vertical spin, being able to have the side-to-side spin, and being able to kind of boomerang it. I just there's a lot of things. There's a lot in the repertoire there that it's kind of interesting that he can go with, and that he can control it that way, where it's like, you know what, I'm going to try this. I would think there's maybe 2 or 3 variations of how you're going to set the football onto your foot and blast it. Apparently, I was wrong. Apparently, there's a lot more to it, which good. That's great. And if it helps Nebraska change the field position and flip the field, and where their defense can try to make a team have to go more than 80 yards on them, I mean, that's a huge part of all of those different elements of special teams that we talked about and continue to talk about, that we got to see improvement just collectively this season.
You know, another competition that I think maybe we assume it might be given to, not given, obviously not given. You have to earn all of it. But Tristan Alvano, now that he's healthy, being the guy. But John Holt came on, and so that's going to be a battle, too, between those two guys. And there's absolutely going to be a competition there at kicker, too.
And I think that the biggest part of that upgrade or that area improving is not only is Tristan healthy physically, which all indications point to he is, but what has that layoff done? Did it give him some time to just cut himself some slack? You know, I mean, I understand there was a lot of pressure.
When we had him on, he said that was a big part of it. He had to focus on the mental part of it.
Yeah. And I think that's a lot. I mean, a lot of people remember when Connor Culp was at Nebraska and during the COVID year when he didn't have any fans in the stadium. I mean, the guy couldn't miss. And then all of a sudden, and I was saying this only half serious to some friends when we returned the following year, where fans are back in the stands, and all of a sudden he was wildly inconsistent. And I thought, is it because now all of a sudden you're looking at the uprights, but there are fans behind those uprights, as opposed to where you're just seeing empty stadium seats? Like, what is going on here? And so there's such a big mental part of that game, and I think it's to every kicker. And for Tristan, I just think all of the pressure that he had, I don't even want to say pressure, but expectations. You know, this is a guy who kicked a walk-off state championship winner for Omaha West Side, gets offered, I think essentially that night or that morning after the state championship game, he's at Nebraska, and everybody thinks he's going to start that cycle back over again of these great kickers at Nebraska, and he's going to be a stud, and he's going to find himself in the NFL. And I think everybody just kind of expected that, because he was coming from a state championship. He has such a strong leg, great kid. And sometimes it takes a little bit to ease into that, to transition from the high school level to the college level, where there's 10 times amount of fans that are watching you, and every kick is drenched with drama, because with all of those close one-score games, it can be a major factor. I hope he's given himself a little bit more time to process everything, and again, to cut himself some slack, because when you have such a high standard and you've been so successful for your whole career, and then you go through that first bout of adversity where you're not making some kicks, you can question everything you're doing. And so that's my biggest hope, is that he's both physically and mentally, he's where he exactly needs to be.
All right. Great stuff. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Go coach him up out there at the flag football practice.
We're going to be running sprints. No, I shouldn't say that, because it's really hot. I might get in trouble by saying that. No.
All right. We'll talk to you tomorrow night here on the show again. Yeah. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
You bet.
All right. We're back to hear from Emtit Johnson coming up right after this here on Sports Nightly.
It's the summer sales event with the Ford Groom.
Sam, 30 seconds on the clock. The Ford Summer Sales Event.
Great time to buy.
Correct. What do we have amazing deals on this summer?
Ford trucks and SUVs.
Is Ford America's all-time best-selling auto brand?
Let me think. Yeah, it is.
3 for 3.
What do I win?
You get to work at the Ford Summer Sales Event.
Amazing. think I was gonna do that anyway.
You betcha. Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry-reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY. Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. Want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir, Toyota trucks. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers, Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Discover luxury at every mile at Woodhouse Lincoln. Take advantage of exclusive offers happening now during the Lincoln Summer Invitation Sales Event. Receive 0% APR for up to 48 months on the 2025 Lincoln Nautilus, plus an available 90-day deferred first payment and a 2-year 25,000-mile premium maintenance plan included. Browse our inventory in-store at 144th and Giles Road or online at woodhouselincoln.com. With approved credit, must finance with Lincoln Finance. $299 doc fee due at signing. VIN 5LMPJHKA1SJ 898825. Offer expires 7/31/2025. See dealer for details.
Hey Huskers, stop by your local Hy-Vee where they've lowered prices on thousands of the items you use every day. Hy-Vee, dedicated to making your life easier, healthier, and happier. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody. Yesterday, following the first day of fall camp for Husker football, I had a chance to chat with a couple of the players, including running back Emtit Johnson. It's a big topic yesterday about the running backs, him being the guy who's going to be playing behind him, all that good stuff. But if you'll recall back in the NBA playoffs, his team, the Timberwolves, met up with my team, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and as we all know, my team prevailed. And so he was talking a lot of trash leading up to that. And this is my first time getting to chat face-to-face with Emmett since all of that unfolded. So that is where we start, is me giving him a hard time about my team being victorious in the NBA playoffs. Here with running back Emtit Johnson. First of all, I'm glad I haven't lost privileges, being that my Thunder beat your T-Wolves in the NBA finals or in the NBA playoffs. And I know you said, please don't make it be one of the questions. So I'm getting it out of the way here off the top.
Minnesota will be back and better next year. Credit to Thunder. I'm happy for Chet Holmgren. He's a Minnesota guy, so props to you. And she was right the whole time, but just know, the Timberwolves going to be back next year and got some big things coming, so yeah.
All right, well, first day out here, how did it feel to get back out here?
Man, it felt amazing, just being back out there with my teammates, man. This is my 4th fall camp. The grass felt really, really good outside, and it was just a great first day. We're just taking that next step of, leading each other, and we did a great job of going out there, handling the weather. Wasn't really a big issue. We're in great shape right now, so it was great.
Okay, so take me through just the process of when you guys ended spring ball and what you did throughout these last few months to be ready for today. Because from the coaching staff, it sounds like you guys really handled business. So how did that set up for what you guys were able to do here on day one?
Yeah, I would just say, the offseason, Coach Campbell, those guys putting us in uncomfortable positions, pushing us in a weight room, conditioning, all that's helping us now, man. We look really physical, big, and strong out here today. So props to that, man. We're just doing a good job of recovering our bodies, too. That's really important for camp because, you're going 6 days straight back to back. So we've been doing really well with that.
And what kind of ownership and leadership did the players take amongst themselves over these last couple of months to become a player-led team going into the start of the season?
Yes, sir. We've been putting ourselves in positions to lead. Me, Dylan, Dane, those guys, we go out, we do movie nights, we do all types of things where it's just the players, no coaches involved. And so I think a team that's strong off the field and really close, it's going to help us on the field when times get tough and we need each other to push on each other. So we're going to be really good when it comes to adversity times in the season because we spend a lot of time off the field with each other.
How does it feel for you going into this one? You're the guy, you've played a lot of football, there's a lot of young guys behind you, but how does this camp feel different for you?
It feels the same. I'm just in the leadership role now, but I'm just super motivated. I'm really motivated, and I want to go help this team win games. And, also just for myself, I'm trying to make this the best season I've ever had.
For some young running backs, what's the process of because when you play running back in the Big Ten for a team like this, you got to do more than just make plays, right, with the ball in your hand. What's that process look like for a young running back to be able to do all the things that's needed to see the field?
Just learning as much as possible, and I would definitely say stacking days, man. Every little moment where we're not getting plays, I try to tell some of the younger guys when you're not getting plays, watch, just to take a mental note because once you get that opportunity, man, you don't want to lose it, man. You want to take advantage of every opportunity you get. So just learning as much as possible. I'm trying to do my best job of teaching those younger guys and just taking it day by day. That's all it is, stacking days.
Well, how do you feel about some of those young guys and maybe the guys that will be playing behind you?
I feel good about them. I'm going to keep pushing to get them better, but I'm feeling great just because I know Coach EJ does a good job of making sure people know their assignments before they go out there on the field. So I'm feeling great about them, but I'm going to keep pushing them to be the best.
Before you can actual hit with the pads, what needs to get accomplished for a team throughout this first week?
Before we can hit?
Yeah.
Just like I said, the mental things, just getting the plays, getting the mental things down. But I know a lot of people are ready to hit, which is crazy. I know it's day one, but a lot of people are ready to get those pads on and get going.
With Coach Holgerson and his offense, you guys been through now, half a season almost, and then throughout off season and spring ball. But what are some of the things he's doing now that he's taken over here in fall camp?
Yeah, just keeping the game simple for us. Coach Holgerson's a guy who just likes keeping the game really, really simple, giving us a great opportunity to just focus on the little things, man. We're not coming in day one having a whole new playbook or whatever. He's keeping the game simple. You know exactly what you have. Now we just got to execute to a high level and just do it every single day. He always says routine plays. We just got to come in every day and execute the same thing back to back to back and just never let down. Our day one of camp should look the same as the last day of camp.
Hey, one thing I thought that was pretty exciting to see the number of bodies in the O-line and seeing some of those guys back out here healthy. How exciting is that for you?
Man, it's really exciting. I just said it in there. I'm super proud of those guys. They've done a good job of the offseason. They worked their butts off, man. I see them at the stadium in the morning. I see them at the stadium in the nighttime. So I have no doubt they're going to do their job of helping me. I just can't wait to run behind them all season and just keep them healthy, man. But they work really hard. Really proud of that group. Henry, some of those older guys leading that group have been doing a great job.
And some of the healthy guys that have the experience, Turner, Teddy, Gunner back out there, that's big for an offense to have that kind of depth, right?
I'm excited, man. I'm really proud of those guys, man. I've been here with Teddy, Turner, those guys since my freshman year. Knowing that they're still here is great because we've been through the ups and downs. We know what it takes. Now we just got to go out there and do it.
Okay, so just from the progress from day one to when you kick things off, how do you guys approach this? What needs to get done for this team to be ready for the first game throughout these next few weeks?
Just buying into our standard, making everything about us, limiting all the outside distractions, and just focusing on football every single day so that when we kick off in Arrowhead, we're ready to go and we're ready to put on a show and win the game.
As always, appreciate your time.
Yes, ma'am. Appreciate you.
Always great stuff from Emtit Johnson. He's been, I've documented it, one of my favorite people, one of my favorite athletes to get to chat with here on campus. I told Kyle that actually Emmett and Marquise Buford have been two of the guys that have been incredible interviews over the last several years. But it's neat to see also his approach to this. I mean, he's the guy, and he's had to fight for his opportunities and his playing time since he got here. He really was. I've also said this. I feel like just from my perspective of Dana Holgerson's offense, Emtit Johnson is a guy that fits to a T what Coach Holgerson likes to do with his running backs. But even though all that is surrounding Emmett and him being the guy and knowing that going into this, he's not settling. He said, hey, I'm still hungry. I still got a lot to prove. I still want to keep that chip on my shoulder. So it's a good approach, and I'm excited to see how his season unfolds going into it as the guy. And who are the guys that are going to be playing behind him? Because that's a big storyline throughout this fall camp for sure. All right, we got to get to a break. We're back to wrap up the show coming up right after this.
No matter what you're looking for, you'll find it at Woodhouse. We carry a wide selection of trusted brands across more than 20 locations, offering everything from efficient daily drivers to bold new EVs and family-ready SUVs. At Woodhouse, we put your experience first, offering expert guidance and a trusted team that's guaranteed to help you find the right vehicle. Visit a location near you or start shopping online at woodhouse.com. More ways to drive, more reasons to trust. This is Woodhouse.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
At Woodhouse, we're with you every step of the way. With more than 20 locations and brands, you'll find options that fit your lifestyle. Whether you're looking for your first car, your next SUV, or something built to tow and haul. Enjoy straightforward pricing, helpful guidance, and a dealer experience built around you. Visit one of our convenient locations today or explore your options online at woodhouse.com. Serving our customers for 50 years, this is Woodhouse.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Welcome back. Final couple minutes here left of the show tonight. I'm Jessica Coody. So I did want to put out there again, your tickets are on sale. There's going to be some announcements coming up about the Big Red Preview coming up on Saturday, so stay tuned for that. I know there's some fun things surrounding that event. The proceeds going to the 1890. So we're going to talk some more about that coming up later on in the week. But Huskers.com/tickets if you want to be a part of that and see some of these guys in action. It'll be the first time they're in full pads. And I keep saying this, but I had a lot of fun out there last year at this event. So I think it's going to be another cool event. We'll have more information as the event gets closer coming up to Saturday with Fan Day as well, where you can go get your autographs inside Hawks. Thank goodness if it's going to be another hot one, it's inside. So Huskers.com for all that information and Huskers.com/tickets to get your tickets to the Big Red Preview coming up on Saturday night inside Memorial Stadium. All right, that's going to do it for me here tonight. Coming up tomorrow night on the show, I also had a chance to chat with Cam Linhart, the now junior crazy. He's a junior defensive lineman, and so we'll catch up with him, bring you that conversation, and Jamarcus Lawrence as we continue our newcomer series, although he's not really a newcomer, but returning back. I had a chance to have a fun conversation with him. So excited to see him back here in Lincoln. So we'll have those two conversations for sure coming up for you tomorrow night on the show. All right, thanks to Kyle and Nick and Josh and Camden for helping me out on this one. And thanks to you for tuning in. We'll talk to you tomorrow night for a full 2 hours of Sports Nightly here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Make this summer unforgettable with a new ride from Woodhouse Chevy. Whether you're heading to the lake, the campsite, or just cruising with the windows down, we'll help you find the perfect vehicle to get you there in style and comfort. Explore current offers happening now online, or visit us in store at one of our 2 locations in Omaha and Missouri Valley. Woodhouse Chevy. Together, let's drive.
Nebraska soybeans power everyday products, from Goodyear tires and Skechers shoes to soy-based turf and fire suppressants. These innovations replace petroleum and utilize other components of the soybean, leading to more sustainable products worldwide.
I'm Doug Sadoff, a farmer near Trumbull, Nebraska. Thanks to cutting-edge research, soybeans are now in everything from tires to turf. It's amazing to see how these advancements are unlocking new potential for our crops.
Soybeans are a win for every product and everyone. Nebraska